Welcome to the Safe Money Retirement Show with certified financial fiduciary, Tim Wood.
This is all about helping people. That is why I am so passionate about this, because it's literally getting up every day and helping people plan for the rest of their lives. Make a plan, because I promise you're going to sleep better.
Tim is a retirement and income planning expert, best-selling author, and the founder of SafeMoneyRetirement.com. Tim focuses on wealth management, retirement income, tax and long-term care planning, and so much more.
Let's sit down. Let's make sure we have got a holistic plan. We're not just looking at one thing.
And now, the Safe Money Retirement Show with Tim Wood.
And we welcome you into this week's edition of the Safe Money Retirement Show. Alongside Tim Wood, he's the founder, president, certified financial fiduciary, and, of course, newly designated retirement income certified professional with Safe Money Retirement. My name is Kevin McAlpin, and, of course, Tim and I thank you so much for being with us on the show, and we got a lot to get to coming up here today. Coming up on today's show, we're going to tell you a mistake a sweepstakes winner made, and how you can avoid finding yourself in a similar situation. Plus, later on, if you're thinking about interviewing a financial advisor, we'll give you some things that should be top of mind and some questions you should be asking when you have those conversations. We'll get to that and a whole lot more. But first things first, we say hello to the man of the hour, the star of the show, and my good buddy, Tim Wood. Tim, it is always great to be with you. Hope you're having a great day, sir.
Absolutely. I am having a great day, and it's always great to be with you and all the great listeners that we have. And let's have a great show, brother. Let's roll.
We got a lot to get to. And for those folks who may have missed a recent show last week or the last couple of weeks, some big news from Tim Wood getting this new designation, retirement income certified professional, going along with, obviously, your certified financial fiduciary as well. So big times, big things happening in the safe money retirement world, aren't there?
Yeah, it was. It was a year and a half in the making. It's something I'm very proud of, and it's something that's really going to pay a lot of dividends for my clients. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? I'm not doing it for me. This is all for the clients. So, yeah, I mean, and it's all about retirement income. That's what that designation was about, whether it's Social Security, whether it's pension, whether it's annuities, whether it's, dividends off of stocks, whatever it is. It went into all of the different ways that you can get income, and what are the positives and negatives, and how does it work, and what's the tax consequences of all of them, and how do they play together, because some play together nice and some don't play together at all, and you need to know all of the rules to make sure everything is set up properly. So that was the real point. But like we talked about on last week's show, just being back in the seat of a student for a minute, because I'm teaching all day. That's what I do all day with every single client, is teach them what their options are and then just help them execute them. Being back in that role as a student was really eye-opening, and I think it's really going to help shape how we move forward with Safe Money Retirement over the next several years.
My dad used to say it all the time. You got to learn something new every single day, and you've been doing that for the last year and a half. So congratulations on the new designation. Tim Wood, now retirement income certified professional as well. Of course, he's also the founder and the president of Safe Money Retirement. And if you'd like to learn more, you'd like to get on Tim's calendar, maybe get a jump on that year-end financial planning, the number to reach Tim today is 800-913-SAFE. Again, it's 800-913-7233. Or online anytime. The website is safemoneyretirement.com. That's safemoneyretirement.com. So, Tim, if you're anything like me, maybe go back 15, 20 years ago, I always had dreams of looking out the front window and seeing that Publishers Clearinghouse van drive down the driveway.
Check.
Yeah,
yep.
the balloons, the camera crew, the big check. But there was always something about that van, just like seeing it drive down there was just such a really cool moment. And I always had visions it was going to happen. And unfortunately, it never did. I don't know about you.
Apparently not, because you're here, right?
That's
we're having to work for a living.
What a concept, right? Well, Tim, the company that was known for big-time sweepstakes recently filed for bankruptcy, and that's leaving winners of the $5,000 a week for life jackpot. That, by the way, that's $260,000 per year, out of luck. And one of them is John Wiley, who recently spoke about it.
Why didn't somebody at least give me a heads up? Hey, we're going out of business, No, it's like somebody just cut the cord. I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose my home. Sold my jet ski, sold my trailer. I had a little bit of money left over, and that's what I'm living on right now. I was proud of the fact that I left my children something. Now I can't leave them anything, and I'm really disappointed.
So, Tim, we talk about it all the time. Our loyal listeners hear you week in and week out. You got to make a plan for your finances. Doesn't sound like John Wiley followed that school of thought, does it?
Well, he was too trusting. And that's one of the issues that this actually relates a lot to what I have seen over the years with pensions. Because we have all seen pensions that go belly up. And that's exactly what happens. The exact same thing happens if a pension goes belly up. Now, you do have some protection with pensions, but still, it depends on how big your pension was. It's probably still going to be significantly impacted if something happens to that fund. So what should John have done? The other option when he had won that money, instead of counting on that company being around for the rest of his life to pay it, would have been to take that lump sum and then convert that lump sum to one of these guaranteed lifetime income annuities from a top-rated life insurance company, some of which have been around since the 1800s and aren't going anywhere. That way he wouldn't have to worry about it, and he would be completely not impacted with what's happening right now with Publishers Clearinghouse. And he also probably would have had some extra benefits that he would not have had with Publishers Clearinghouse. That Publishers Clearinghouse payment was not going to pay him more if he got in a long-term care situation or if his wife got in a long-term care situation. It wasn't going to pay any beneficiary a big, huge chunk if one of them were to die. It was basically just a lifetime annuity. And when the company goes under, which, PCH did, that's it. It's done. So, yeah. And again, all goes back. I know I beat the dead horse every episode. Make a plan and make it with someone that can look out for your best interest and long-term interest. He should have sat down with someone that said, well, what's going to happen if PCH goes out of business? If no one said that, then he never had that. It probably never even crossed his mind.
Right.
And if someone had said that, then he would have gone, well, I don't know what would happen. Well, we need to think about that. So maybe that lump sum does make more sense in that case. So again, it's just sitting down with a certified financial fiduciary that's got your best interest at heart and coming up with a plan that's going to make the most sense for you and protect you as much as possible.
And that person is Tim Wood with Safe Money Retirement. And obviously, he's just a phone call away. The website, by the way, is safemoneyretirement.com. Again, safemoneyretirement.com. You can visit the website. You can get on Tim's calendar and schedule that initial no-obligation consultation. But Tim, doesn't this really underscore the importance of long-term financial planning? If a sweepstakes winner can lose everything, you heard him talk about it. I'm going to probably lose my house. Had to sell the jet skis. Don't have anything to leave for the kids. Collected over $3 million since he hit this jackpot, by the way. Doesn't that really underscore the importance of sitting down with somebody like yourself?
100%. Yes, absolutely. Sitting down with someone, no matter what your situation is, even if you think you have got so much money coming in that, short of something catastrophic happening, you're going to be fine. Okay, well, nothing really catastrophic happened and John's not fine anymore. You need to sit down with someone that can look at it from an outside perspective and help you get guidance on what if. If we can cut the legs out from under as many what ifs as we possibly can and make sure that your stool has completely got grounded legs and is going to be able to withstand storms and withstand challenges and withstand market drops and withstand wars and withstand if there's another epidemic of some kind or whatever, make sure we have got something that's going to withstand all that stuff. That was really his downfall, is just praying or trusting, not praying. He's praying now, but trusting that the company was just going to be around. And, again, if we're trusting an A-rated insurer that's got billions under their name and has been around for a long time, that's totally different than just trusting this company that's just a sweepstakes company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sitting down with someone that explained that to him would have made a huge difference.
What do they say? Failing to plan is planning to fail. And obviously, that's not a situation you want to find yourself in. If big jackpot winners can lose everything, certainly underscores the importance of sitting down and having that plan in place for your financial future, for your retirement. We talk about it on this show 20, 30, hopefully 40 years and beyond. Pick up the phone. Give Tim Wood and the team at Safe Money Retirement a call today. Start that conversation, 800-913-SAFE. Again, that number, 800-913-7233. Or the website, again, is safemoneyretirement.com. Again, it's safemoneyretirement.com. So, Tim, I know a lot of our listeners out there have probably never dealt with a financial advisor over the course of their lifetime. The vast majority of Americans say that financial professionals are a top source of guidance when it comes to their money, yet only about 38% actually work with an advisor. One of the reasons they kick the can down the road is they say it's not easy finding the right person. So let me ask you this, Tim, for our listeners that have never interviewed a financial advisor, they've never gone through this process, what are some of the big questions? What are some of the talking points? What are some of the things they should be listening for when they do start those kinds of conversations?
Several things. First of all, how long have you, obviously the normal things that everyone's thinking. How long have you been in the business? You know, do you actually have an office? Because unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this industry that literally do this out of their bedroom. Mm-hmm. So, you know, are you a real business? Do you have a business license? Are you licensed? Are you insured? I mean, all those normal things. But really, what you need to do is you need to sit down and talk to someone. Doesn't necessarily have to be in person, because listen, right now I'm in 27 states. I do stuff on Zoom and on FaceTime and even just over the phone all day, every day. But talking to someone, and you can really get a feel for, is someone really just, you know, trying to push you towards buying something that they know is going to make them money, or is someone actually slowing down and looking holistically at your entire plan? And you can just feel when someone has got your best interest at heart. I mean, you can just tell. And in my opinion, that is really what this boils down to, because folks, you only got one shot in retirement. If you've saved up $350,000 and that's for your retirement for you and your wife, that's it. Mm-hmm. You can't miss. You get one at bat, and you have got to hit a home run. That's it. There's no other option. It's the bottom of the ninth. There's 2 outs, and you have got to hit a home run. That's it. That's the only way you win. Well, let's make sure you can hit a home run. Let's not leave it to chance. But the biggest thing, again, is, do you trust that person? And the other couple things I would say, fees. My company doesn't charge any fees ever. So you're not going to pay any fees when you're talking to us. The way we are compensated by the top-rated companies that we do business with. Essentially, I'm a broker. So if I talk to someone, I'm helping them find the best plan. I'm helping facilitate the whole transaction. I'm helping do everything. But then our company is compensated by the company as basically a broker's commission, essentially. That's how we are compensated. How is the guy compensated? Is he compensated directly on just getting your money in-house, and then every single month that there's a fee, or every year there's a fee? That's something to think about. And what type of plans is he doing? That's the other really big thing, is when someone's younger, you want someone that is just a broker, or someone that can help you grow your money as much as you can. And if it crashes, okay, well, that's awful, but you're only in your 30s or 40s. There's plenty of time to make it back. When you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, that time doesn't exist. In my book, I talk about the time horizon, and that's a really big deal that people need to think about in retirement, is depending on what your time horizon is, you need a different type of advisor. So there are financial advisors that are great for when you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s. But once you get into your 50s, and especially 60s, you need to step away from that acquisition mindset, that accumulation mindset, that let me get as much as I can mindset, to, okay, I've saved up all of these nuts. Well, winter's coming. It's time to start using them. So, and that takes a totally different type of planner and a totally different plan. So you need to move from someone that's just a regular financial planner over to someone that is an expert specifically in retirement planning.
And that person is Tim Wood. Look no further. Tim Wood with Safe Money Retirement. He's the founder, president, certified financial fiduciary, and of course, retirement income certified professional. And folks, he's just a phone call away. You want to get on his calendar today? We do have teammates standing by to schedule that initial consultation. And folks, here's what we're going to do. For our first 5 callers from today's show, you're not only going to pick up that complimentary no obligation conversation with Tim, he's also going to throw in a copy of his book, also entitled Safe Money Retirement as well. So don't delay. Pick up the phone, give him a call right now, and get a jump start on that year-end financial planning by dialing 800-913-SAFE. Again, that number, 800-913-SAFE. Or online anytime. It's safemoneyretirement.com. Again, that website is safemoneyretirement.com. All right, we got to step aside for a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We got much more of this week's edition of the Safe Money Retirement Show with Tim Wood coming up right after this.
Welcome to Willie's Wings, home of the secret sauce.
I'll take a dozen wings. Oh, by the way, I love that sauce. What's in it?
Can't tell you.
Why not?
It's a secret.
While many financial advisors claim to have that secret sauce, they really don't. In fact, their sauce is so good, why are they keeping it a secret? Tim Wood of Safe Money Retirement doesn't keep anything a secret. He knows there's much more to retirement planning than stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Tim will develop a strategy designed specifically for you. It's your own secret sauce for retirement. Call 800-913-SAFE. That's 800-913-7233 or online at safemoneyretirement.com.
Fine, you want to know what's in the sauce?
Absolutely.
Tablespoon of paprika.
Really?
And we welcome you back into this week's edition of the Safe Money Retirement Show with you each and every week, talking all things retirement with Tim Wood, the founder, president, certified financial fiduciary, and if you missed it earlier in the show, retirement income certified professional with Safe Money Retirement. My name's Kevin McAlpin, and of course, Tim and I thank you for being with us on the show each and every week, same time, same station. Make sure you set a reminder to join us as we help you put that plan in place for your retirement. Again, the number, if you'd like to get on Tim's calendar today, is 800-913-SAFE. Again, 800-913-7233. Or the website is safemoneyretirement.com. Again, safemoneyretirement.com. And keep those phone numbers handy, folks. If you'd like to pick up a copy of Tim's book, it's also entitled Safe Money Retirement. Our first 5 callers, you're not only getting on Tim's calendar, you're also taking home a copy of that book as well. So again, don't delay. You can also visit the website, safemoneyretirement.com. So, Tim, I think one of these weeks we'll have to just do a show that we record before we actually do the real show, like all the things you and I get into off air. And one of our favorite comedians is George Carlin. And I know most of the stuff he said over the years, not safe for terrestrial radio these days, but still a guy that you go back, you watch his specials, and so much of what he dove into 20, 30 years ago really still relevant in 2025. Isn't that incredible?
It is. Yes, absolutely. It's yes. A lot of it is so, like Nostradamus-y kind of stuff, but he made it funny. Yeah, it is. It is weird.
Yeah, it has certainly withstood the test of time. There's no doubt about it. He gave us tons of great comedy specials over the years. And among one of his most popular routines of all time was a place for my stuff. Take a listen to this.
That's the whole meaning of life, isn't it? Trying to find a place for your stuff. It's all your house is. It's a place to keep your stuff while you go out and get more stuff. Now, sometimes you've got to move. You got to get a bigger house. Why? Too much stuff.
Well, I know a lot of our listeners can certainly relate to that, Tim, but one part of retirement planning obviously is to make sure your material stuff and your financial stuff go in the right places. So when you sit down with somebody to really start that planning process, what steps do you find are most important to help your clients, especially in that form when it comes to estate planning?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And that's one of the things in the fact finder that we will go over. I mean, the material stuff is important. It is. But here's what I will say about the material stuff. And you and I have discussed this before. When you're on your deathbed and you're laying there with, your family, whoever's around you when you're about to pass, are you going to care about that jet ski you had? Are you going to care, all that stuff? It's great. I mean, what he was talking about is true. I mean, our entire life seems like it's just to get more stuff,
right?
And to have more stuff than the Joneses do. You know what I mean? That's the whole, but that really isn't what it's about. When you're laying there and you're about to pass, that's not what you're going to be thinking about. And I talk to people about that. And you need to make sure that you keep family around you and keep, all that kind of stuff. But sitting down and making a plan specifically for the financial stuff and having it laid out, that's one of the things that I do in the Fact Finder, and that's why I do everything very systematically and very analytically. And we're going to look at this section, then we're going to look at this section, then we're going to literally all the way through section by section, exactly what you've got for expenses. What do you want for income? What do you already have for income? What do you have for asset sources? What do you have for life insurance, long-term care? What properties do you have? I mean, a bunch of things. We're going to go through step by step by step and make sure all of your stuff is accounted for. Now, let's make sure all of your stuff is where it should be. So if you've got a whole bunch of money sitting over here in this 401k, okay, well, that's nice. That's sexy. That's great. Number one, we got to think about taxes, because if it's in a 401k or an IRA or a TSP or a 403b or any of those type of things, most likely you still owe taxes on all of it. And if your tax rate's 22%, then how much you think you have in there? Subtract 22%. Because that's what the government owns. Again, making a plan. But yeah, it's absolutely imperative to know what your financial stuff is, along with your material stuff, along with your emotional and spiritual stuff. But yeah, sitting down and making a plan and going through it step by step, analytically, and making sure that we have gone through everything, it's absolutely vital. I mean, it's imperative. It's something that you absolutely need to do. Is it going to be a little bit of a chore? Yes, because I'm going to ask you to put some stuff together before we meet. Is it going to take you a minute? Yes. But do you need to do it? Absolutely. Do you need to know what your expenses really are? Do you need to know what your taxes really are? Do you need to know how much is in each account and how much you really own and how much the government owns? And is there something we can do to help stack the deck in your favor, so to speak? Yes, there are things, and the sooner that we start, the better. So, again, making a plan and making a plan for all that financial stuff, totally vital.
Let me ask you this too, in your years of doing this, what are the maybe 2 or 3 things that you've seen that people often forget to include when it comes to estate plans? Is it updating beneficiaries? I mean, that's certainly important. And like you mentioned, there's the emotional aspect of this. There's also the financial side. But is there anything else that's maybe a commonly left out piece of this estate planning, especially for those who maybe try to navigate these waters on their own?
Well, I would say the number one thing that comes to mind is a lot of people just think they need an estate plan, and everybody doesn't need an estate plan. It depends on your specific situation. Not everybody needs to spend the money to have an estate plan, but depending on your situation, I might say we need to sit you down with an attorney and we need to get you an estate plan drawn up. So that would be number one. But some of the big things people overlook, I mean, I've already been talking about it, is taxes. And how are those taxes going to be treated? And required minimum distributions, those RMDs, nobody's looking forward to. They're coming. If you're not there yet, they're coming. They're either 73 or 75 based on how old you are right now. If you haven't already started, if you've already started, they're 72 or they started at 70 and a half. Depends on when what your birthday was. The taxes and the tax bomb that's coming, that's huge. It's absolutely massive. That probably is the biggest thing. And then people making sure that what you want to happen when you pass happens. And I'll give you another perfect example. This last week, I went through this whole thing and we sat down for about 2 hours with this gentleman because he has a lot of different accounts. And he had, to be honest with you, whoever did this with him last time either didn't know or wasn't paying attention and was just slapping things down. He had things that had already had taxes paid on them going to a charity. And he had things that did not have taxes paid on them going to his family. That is exactly opposite, because charities don't have to pay tax. You also don't have to pay tax on that money if you're using it for long-term care. See, people don't know what the options are and how you can do as much as you possibly can to minimize your tax burden, and making sure that you've done that and making sure that you're doing that for your beneficiaries. Because with the new Secure 2.0 Act that just passed relatively recently, the beneficiaries, unless it is a wife or husband, obviously, unless it's a spouse, or it's someone that's less than 10 years younger than you, so like a sister or someone that's just your same age, they're going to have that liquidated within 10 years. Okay? Well, if that's $1 million, that's $100,000 round numbers, $100,000 a year they'd have to pull out in RMDs. Well, of course, that's great. No one's going to complain about that. But now whoever's getting that, that's kicking their tax rate up. If they were only making $40,000 and now they're getting another $100,000, okay, well, that's great, but that just kicked their tax rate up all the way back to $1.
Right.
So making a plan for that and making sure that where you want your money to go and how it's going to work tax-wise when you're gone, and doing that as efficiently as possible. That's what I see a lot.
Yeah, obviously it's important to really take inventory of all your stuff when it comes to financial and physical. And if you haven't updated those estate documents in the last few years, well, now is the time. Pick up the phone. Give Tim Wood and the team at Safe Money Retirement a call right now. Again, folks, that number, 800-913-SAFE. Again, it's 800-913-7233. Again, the website, you can reach Tim anytime. It's safemoneyretirement.com. Again, safemoneyretirement.com. So, Tim, I know we've talked in the past about, staying the course, not panicking when financial news headlines can get a little rocky. And many retirement savers who ignored the stock market tumble back earlier this year, they're now reaping the benefits. They're seeing their 401k balance certainly doing very well here lately. In fact, Fidelity says the number of 401k millionaires reached an all-time high in the second quarter of this year. Now, some close to retirement might think about rolling over those 401ks to IRAs. So let's talk about the biggest benefits. And I know it's something we sort of just touched on. Taxes, probably one of those really key elements when it comes to these rollovers, right?
It is, and we're probably going to see that it's even higher now, more millionaires, what you were saying. It's probably even higher now because the market has still been going up. But yeah, there are some big benefits to moving from a 401k or any type of employer plan over to an IRA, and specifically, it's for when you're having to take out those RMDs. When it's in an IRA, you can determine where you're taking it out of. So, for example, if you had 3 IRAs, you could take all of your RMDs out of all of them combined out of one. So let's say you had one that wasn't growing a lot and 2 that were growing really well. Let's not touch the 2 that are growing really well. Let's let them keep compounding. Let's take the money out of the dead one. If they're in 401ks or most of these other employer type plans, you have to take an RMD out of each account individually. So you might have 3 401k plans. If one of them's not doing well and 2 are doing great, you cannot commingle them. You have to take your RMD out of each one individually. So that's a really big thing. Again, sitting down with someone that understands the rules and can help you make a plan for each individual thing and do it as wisely as possible. But that's why a lot of people combine those 401s and move them to IRAs, usually right at retirement and sometimes even before. It depends on the company. I'd say right now it's probably about 50-50 companies out there. And just for people listening, what you would need to know, if you're before 59 and a half, then you need to ask, does the company allow in-service transfers? If they do, you can still do that before 59 and a half because you're not doing a withdrawal, you're doing a transfer, so you're not going to get that penalty. But not every company allows it. So again, something just to sit down. The second thing I want to point out real quick from what you said is, you wouldn't believe how many people say, yeah, Tim, I want to do one of these income plans or one of your growth plans or whatever, but man, the market's been doing so well, I'm just going to let it go a little bit longer and a little bit longer and a little bit, and I get it. But people, we're in a bubble. We are. There is no one that can dispute that. And what has happened to every bubble in the history of the planet?
It bursts.
Yeah, it bursts. Yeah. And we are on the edge of a cliff. And I don't know whether that cliff is I don't know whether we're going to go off of that cliff next week, next year, or 3 years from now, but it's coming. Yeah. Look at the history of the market. Look at where we're at. It's coming. So making sure that you're prepared. And when is a good time to pull money out of the accounts and get them into these protected accounts? When they're at all-time highs. Don't wait until it crashes, because then you're using, a lot less money to accomplish what you're trying to do. When you're at an all-time high, brother, that's exactly the time to strike and make that money do what you want it to do for the rest of your life, guaranteed contractually from companies, so it doesn't matter what happens in the market, you're going to be set for your retirement.
That sounds like you. If you'd like to learn more about some reasons why you don't want to panic when you hear these financial headlines, you hear the mixed messages out of Wall Street and Washington, you'd like to sit down with somebody who does this day in and day out. Well, Tim Wood, he's the founder, president, certified financial fiduciary, and retirement income certified professional with Safe Money Retirement, and he is here to help. Pick up the phone. Get on his calendar today by dialing 800-913-SAFE. Again, that number, 800-913-7233. Online anytime. It's safemoneyretirement.com. Again, the website is safemoneyretirement.com. So, Tim, it's been another good show here today. Always fun to get a chance to visit with you. And we're very quickly running out of time here today. But before we do, my friend, I'm leaving the floor all yours for the final word.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. Another great show. Hope everyone enjoyed the show today and got a lot out of it. We did talk about a lot of stuff today, but it all comes down to what you hear me say over and over. Make a plan. We talked about the bankruptcy from Publishers Clearinghouse. Well, what could he have done better? Make a plan. We talked about people not having an advisor and why would they not want to have an advisor and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So what was the end goal of that? Make a plan. We talked about George Carlin and stuff and financial stuff and personal stuff and all that stuff. Well, what's the point? Make a plan. Are you seeing a pattern here?
I am.
Anybody?
Yeah, I am.
Anybody? Bueller? Are you seeing a plan or a pattern? Everything that we talked about today is about making a plan. Whatever that plan's going to be, great. Hallelujah. But let's sit down, and you need to sit down with someone that is a certified financial fiduciary, someone that is an expert in retirement income and knows how to help you navigate all of these different sources of income, knows how to navigate all of the tax bombs that are out there, knows how all of these things work together and makes the best plan for you so you can have your own safe money retirement.
The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Obviously, by contacting us now, you are only taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified, licensed insurance professional. It is important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Interest and other guarantees in annuity contracts are subject to the claims-paying ability of the insurance carrier that issued the contract. The tax consequences of annuity income should be considered with the help of a licensed tax professional. Rates and returns mentioned on this program may vary based on state availability and are subject to change without notice.